Was there a bone sticking out?
You get a poem.
Is an elephant heavy?
What you see isn't always the truth.
Welcome back to Baby Daddies, the podcast where two gays recap all of your favorite gay cess porn videos. You know, it sounded better in my head when I first said it, and then I was like, do I say Masonic Boys? Do I say Wolf LeGray? You know, I was trying to find something in that kind of daddy son genre, but
I was gonna jump in there. I was gonna say, yeah, step bro, step dad. Like, then I was gonna look to the side and be like, wait, what does the line say? Oh,
step bro, I'm stuck in the washing machine. This is Baby Daddies, where we recap For the Love of DILFs season 3. Imario, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing real good. I just got done watching the episode again not too long ago. There was drama in this one, and I ain't just talking about the bloody injury that happened. Oh,
You know, we say this every week. We start every episode. Wow, there was drama this week. But then, and I really don't mean to exaggerate. Like, it just keeps coming.
It literally is drama, and it's not the same drama either. It's like brand new drama that happens every episode, and that's what I look forward to.
Yeah, it's not like season 2 where we're like rehashing the Rico Nigel plot line, you know, like throughout the season. You know, like the drama. And trust me, I love that plot line. Don't get me wrong.
It was a good one.
But the drama here, we're swapping. You know, the tables are turning constantly. There's new things happening all the time. But we got a lot to get into. Mm-hmm. And stick around later because we will have a guest with us to help talk about stuff. So starting off this episode really quickly from the On Last Week episode.
Oh, yeah.
There's the clip of Justin listening to Stormy tell him about how to use the phone. And his eyes, he's like, Yep, I'm listening, but I'm not sure I'm understanding, because in his head, he knows damn well he's about to eliminate himself.
It's just going in one ear and out the other, like, okay. Like,
yep. So I'm gonna give it to Timmy. You heard all that stuff? Yeah, that's your problem now. Thank you. Speaking of Timmy, we start the episode, Timmy and Samuel. I love how they address each other. Good morning, doll. Good morning, King. I said, this is just us talking to each other?
Basically, like, this is the himbo on himbo action I've been looking for. You've been wanting daddy on daddy. I want himbo on himbo. This is the pair.
Good morning, doll. Stole it.
Good morning, King.
So we are immediately made privy to yesterday's nightly activities, where Timmy was in the bed with David and then stepped out for a second and came back, and Steph was in the bed with David, much to his chagrin. Samuel, I think, is right here because he's like, the daddy's got to let them know where they're all kind of at. I'm not, because, you know, we love daddy hopping. We think this is a dating show. You should be dating around. You should be meeting other people. I think this may have been a step, just a skosh over.
Moving a little bit too fast?
I don't think it's moving too fast because I'm someone who fucks on the first date. I think it's when Timmy comes back in the room. You know what I mean?
I get that.
It's a proximity issue.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the proximity was literally like 5 feet apart. Like, we saw the camera feed that Dr. Dilf so graciously gave us when he wasn't using it to watch them change. Yeah, Timmy was literally just on my couch while I'm making out with Steph. It was basically that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing if it's at like 2 different points in the day. Like, oh, I'm going to have some one-on-one time with Timmy, and then later on I'm gonna have some one-on-one time with Steph. You know, that makes a little more sense, right? But to have it be so back to back like that quickly is, I feel like a smack in the face feels like a little much, but it's a little shady boots. I have written here, dream blunt rotation, Samuel, Timmy, Imario, me. I stand by that.
I'll go roll it up right now. Like, listen, we can make it happen.
And then Timmy says, you know, we're designer bags. We're not Canal Street knockoffs. And honestly, not too much on Canal Street knockoffs. You know, I've got many a nice piece of fake clothing or jewelry from Canal Street. You know, I used to frequent Canal Street. I love it, but so not too much.
Watch it, Timmy.
Yeah. Then we skip over to David and Nicholas. Nicholas came through this season with the daddy wear. This is like the 3rd shirt that he's had on with like the daddy kind of design and like a different print and stuff, which I think is very fun. So whenever we have him on, I am excited to hear more about, you know, his choice of wardrobe, because I always think the daddy shirts are fun.
I gonna say it now, Nick. Whenever you listen to this, can you drop the link, please? Because like this daddy hat isn't enough. I need more.
Yeah, but oh, I just noticed you. That's so cute. That is a cute
Mm-hmm.
hat.
Daddy.
Speaking of Daddy Nicholas is laying down the law. He said, "You better treat these boys right." He said,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm letting you know, you're fired. I will be going after Timmy this week. Thank you very much."
And David said, "Oh," and then Nicholas said, "Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
I mean, you left him, so I'm gonna pick up the pieces of the heart you broke." That's what he
Uh huh.
said.
Yeah. The boy's mine.
I knew. I was just waiting for it to happen.
And part of me, I see both sides of it. I think David should be allowed to explore his interests and get to know both boys better. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I think making out with both of them in front of each other is a bit messy and muddies the water for the himbos. You know what I mean? Now, if everybody's down for non-monogamy, this is a non-issue. But that's neither here nor there, alas. Um, yeah, I think Nick like sees this opportunity. He's like not really in anyone's pocket right now, and
Mm-hmm.
so he sees this opening and it's like a good reality TV show contestant takes the opportunity. And it's like, okay, this kid is all tuned up. This is my chance to, put flowers on his bed, run a bath for him.
Run a bath.
This is his chance to do all that, So he like
Quick, fast, in a hurry. I mean, listen, you can get you a new himbo and start some drama on the way out. Listen,
hell,
the cameras
why
gonna love
not?
you.
Why not? Yeah. Because at this point, this is when we start. We've already eliminated, once. The
Mm-hmm.
eliminations are going to keep coming. This is the time where you want to start making a strong connection with someone. And up until this point, Nicholas hasn't really had that. He tried to make that
Yeah.
that go for for Jay, but that didn't really work. So this is like his chance to really try and start something. So I think this is really smart for him. We move on to the new daddy or the old daddy,
The old new daddy.
the
The
old
old
new
daddy with new
daddy.
tricks.
Yeah, old. You can teach. Yeah, you can teach an old daddy new tricks
Uh-huh.
because he learned how to get his ass ate.
He learned how to bust it open, hold them cheeks, and you know
Hey,
what? Daddy Tony, we miss you. We love you. We are so
yeah,
glad you're back.
we're so happy you're back. I think out of any of the daddies to come back, Daddy Tony is one that I'm very, very excited about and really,
Hmm.
happy about. He was such a good contestant on season one and always a very nice president. And we just had so much fun watching him the first time around that I'm very excited to
Hmm.
see what happens this time. I love his Big Boys Club shirt and his confessionals. He's looking
Hmm.
good. Big Boys Club looks to be like it is his own clothing brand slash collective type thing where like he's making space for the big boys and he
Okay.
has like events and clothes and all types of stuff. Um, so that's another one that like when we have him on, I'm excited to hear him talk about it.
I guess I won't be. I can wear the daddy shorts, but I guess I can't be like Tony. You got a big boys in XXS? If you got, you
No,
got one in the back.
maybe he got one to say like big boy lovers, for the fans
Big
of the
boy
big
love.
boys. Yeah.
There we go.
Like every bear event, it's for bears and their admirers. It's very that you're the admirers. The reunion flashback just makes me want to recap season one even more.
Justice
Even
for
more.
Phoenix.
Just seeing everyone's face again, I'm like, this is it. This is our like we're gonna do it. I'm excited.
Hmm.
So
I can't
Tony
wait.
is back with a vengeance. Takes the shirt off. He's got this nice matching set. He chooses Jay for
Hmm.
the entry date, which is a charcuterie board. Very fun. Foxy is, I'm unbothered, but in his confessional, he's a little bothered. And we know that Jay is still open to other daddies, and that presents itself here. And I mean, Jay told this straight up to Nicholas. And if he had this conversation with Fox, maybe it didn't sink in as well as we would think because
Maybe.
Fox is in Fox's eyes, he's already locked down with Jay, but Jay is leaning into the experience and wanting to meet new
Mhm.
daddies, and he does so in the charcuterie board date. How'd you like this date?
I thought it was a really cute date from the beginning of the ass-shaped charcuterie board, which I thought was a very nice touch from Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Dilf. Just the whole moment. We also found out that Jay was supposed to be on season one, which was new information. So I also kind of wonder, like, how would season one have gone with Jay there?
Yeah. Hmm. Very
Because season one did
curious.
have a good cast.
A lot to think about.
Lot to think about. I thought it was a really cute date. Tony did bring up his newfound love of getting his ass eaten, which I gotta say, Tops, if you ain't out there eating your bottom's ass, your himbo's asses, you're not a top. I'm sorry.
And also get your ass ate.
Get your ass ate and eat some ass. Like lick it
Don't
before you
go.
stick it so you know the pussy good.
Yeah, you gotta lick it before you stick it. You gotta get it nice and wet so you can kick it. I love what Jay says here. I'm like, this is a real wordsmith, you know. I'm about sensation. It's not all penetration. I do enjoy a good cunnilingus session. That that phrase alone, I was like, now this is the poem that should have gone to.
This is
This is the poem.
hmm
But yeah, eat your tops asses. It's fun. That's definitely like the standout of this. And then they start making out. They start
hmm
kissing. I love that. It's very fun. I have written here all this charcuterie and ass eating talk is making me hungry.
Before we leave that, I really like Tony, like, do you like getting your ass eaten? And then Jay just kind of, is the sky blue? Like, of
Yeah.
course. I just thought that was just the cherry on top
Is an
of the
elephant
cake.
heavy? I'm coming back, baby.
Where is that from? I
You
have
don't
not
know
heard that
this?
one.
Okay, so there's
No.
this video. It's like a newscast in Louisiana, and there was like a storm, and
Uh-huh.
this the news lady is interviewing this woman named Constance, and she says, oh, you know, Constance, who's been a resident of this area, you know, she's 80 years old, and she goes, I'm not 80. I'm 75. She goes, 75. And then she goes, well, Constance, are you going to be making your back down to Louisiana area or whatever? And she goes, is an elephant heavy? I'm coming back, baby. It is so good. It's one of my favorite. You know what? I'm
Send
gonna
it to
play it
me.
really quickly right now, just
Okay.
so you can hear it, and then I'll leave that in the
Okay.
episode and I'll cut out me looking it up.
Also on Chef was Constance Landry. She says she's lived here her entire life, almost 80 years, been through just about everything.
Ain't no 80 years old.
Well, just about. I'm sorry, Miss Constance. 76 to be
No,
exact.
75.
75. Are you coming back to New
Get it.
Orleans and New Orleans East?
Is the elephant heavy? I'm coming back, baby.
is
She
my
said, don't
favorite
do
video.
me. Get it right.
Yeah,
75.
75. Not 76, not 80. I'm 75.
She said, you gonna report this news.
Oh yeah, I'm coming back, baby. Moving on, we have Timmy and David have this tense conversation.
I said the tension was thicker than Jay's thighs. It's
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah, the tension could be wearing a Big Boys Club t-shirt, you know. Because the tension is thick. David's like, what's tea? I haven't seen you all day. Really quickly, I want to say it's like an overcast day, but they're both in very cute swimwear, which I'm like, the sun should be out for this, you know, but you know, production stops for no days.
Exactly.
Yeah. David reveals that he would have chosen Timmy had the option come up. And Timmy's like, you know, I'm gonna take that with a grain of sand. Which
Sand.
a grain of sand. I love that. Then David heard that Nicholas. So David heard Nicholas was coming for Timmy. He said, you know, hold up, wait a minute. We gotta come up with something real quick.
We gotta do some damage control. That's what this is.
And so that's kind of what this scene reads to me as. He reveals that he feels pretty bad about what happened last night. He was losing sleep over it. And Timmy's like, yeah, of course. It's great. Beautiful. But in his head, he's like, girl, I'm weighing my options out. I'm leaving Diva.
So when I was seeing the scene and then David said he was going to choose Timmy over Steph, like you couldn't say that earlier. You're going to say it like now, like days after the fact or a day after the fact. It just felt like I don't know. It didn't feel good to me. And I could tell Timmy was just checked out. Like Timmy's just already thinking about the next daddy.
Listen,
like
I was checked out when they had the date at the carnival and he goes, yeah, I don't really know who I'm gonna choose. You know, like that would have given me the ick. Then you
Absolutely.
cut to what happens in the nighttime. That just furthers for me. That's where I'm like, if I'm Timmy, I'm like, let me go find someone else real quick. You know what I mean?
at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then David's like, well, I hope we can get some one-on-one time later, you know. And Timmy's like, okay, sure. And then they share the world's most awkward hug.
I thought there wasn't going to be a hug for a second because of the space that happened. I was like,
Yes.
is this real space or a production space? But I thought it was real. Timmy was just like,
Thinking about it.
yes.
Okay.
Like, saw the
Yeah.
camera was rolling. Yeah, hug.
Yeah. Not like, I'm okay. I'm okay. We cut over to the kayak challenge, or what would have been the kayak challenge, a biathlon of sorts, because it includes maybe like a 100-meter
A run,
jog onto the kayak,
row.
a kayak across the lake, the kayak, pick up a himbo, the kayak back across the lake, do another 100-meter. 100 meters seems too long. It may have been like truly like 30 feet, you know. Victor and Robert are all hyped up, and then boom, you know, gun fires off. Robert goes down. He goes down hard, bitch.
I heard the plate crash in the
They-
audio.
They needed a real ambulance immediately. They had the fake ambulance there for whatever reason. I really don't understand what the.
Oh, they had to give it mouth to mouth. That was the third part.
It just
That
feels
was
like a
part-
very odd segue. Like, it just didn't make that much sense to me. But maybe they manifested this happening because they needed that ambulance for real afterwards.
Yeah, it was bad. Robert was rushed to the hospital immediately. We did not see the injury. I will be asking if it was bloody, was it juicy, was a bone sticking out through the leg? I need to know. As a healthcare professional.
I'm curious. I want to know, but that's mostly because I just like, you know, I'm a horror fan. I like to know about the bloody details. Nicholas and Vic went with Robert, which I feel is very sweet. And, you know, Samuel is shocked. Sam is shocked. And then Steph is also shocked and is like, this is one of my guys. And I said, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know about. I just don't see it for Steph. I don't know.
One of the guys that had my eye on.
No, he said,
That's
this is one of
what-
the guys I've been talking to. He didn't say have my eye on. He said, this is one of the guys I'm talking to. This is one of my guys. I said, oh, okay. They've like
Talking is
talked-
loose.
Yeah, they talked, you know, that one time. It's fine. We cut to the true crime serious black screen, which lets us know that shit's serious. You know what I mean? With like the white serif text to let us know that this shit is real. Robert goes to the hospital for
It
immediate
was
care.
crazy.
Everyone's uncertain where this leaves them in terms of dates. And Samuel's back at it again. He says, Steph, let's look further, Diva. You know, let's dig in deeper. I get it. You like muscles. Let's look past the muscles.
What's under the
him?
muscle?
What speaks to you emotionally, you know? Let's talk about that. And then he's a goofball. We can inspire each other. Blah 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 blah. It just wasn't convincing me that much. You know what I mean? And this, from up to this point, I feel like a lot of, I'm sure Steph is a very kind, you know, I'm sure he's a great guy, but from a lot of what we're seeing, it feels very vain and like I'm just not really seeing it for him.
I wasn't believing it. I don't know. Whatever Steph was selling, I wasn't buying it. I didn't pick it up. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's really
Steph.
no other way to say it.
Exactly. I'm just not buying it. We go over to the Daddy's Den where Vic reveals that he wrote Danny a poem, to which David responds, is that the same poem you wrote for Timmy? Which he ate that one. I'll give him that.
Clocked it real bad.
Yeah, but
And then
Vic's got
Victor
jokes
says-
this episode. He's got jokes. What does he say?
So Victor says the poem I wrote for Timmy is at the bottom of the lake, swimming with the fishies. Like, over. Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Vic is done pining after Timmy, it seems. So Tony's back and he's adjusting to a lot that's going on. You know, anytime someone says there's a lot of characters in here,
It's shady.
it means people are talking too much. You know, it means people are doing the most. Anytime someone says there's a lot of characters, people are like, I find some of these people annoying. That's what he's really saying. You know what I mean?
Coded language. Okay.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm the queen of coded language. You know, I love to just put a little sugar on it to make the medicine go down. So they asked Tony about the date. He's like, oh, it went well. We talked about eating ass. We exchanged lips. So
Camera goes immediately to Foxy.
Foxy
The face crack.
killed me with this line. I was screaming in my bed watching this. I was laughing so hard. Well, he is known to do a lot of charity work, so...
See, I was watching it with my man, and then my man was like, if I was Tony, I would look back and said, did he start with you?
That killed me. Oh my, I was like, he ate that. So Nicholas says she ate and left no crumbs.
Not a single crumb was on the ground when this is over.
This shit is so funny. I'm like, the daddies
Foxy's
are
just so
killing me.
quick with it. Like,
the daddies are really making me laugh this year. Like, this is funny. And Tony has always, I was taught to respect my elders, so I didn't cut him back. I let him live. He did that one too. Back over in the Himbo's hole, which we are now calling it, thanks to David for the suggestion. I do think Himbo's hole and Daddy's Den are pretty fantastic names.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Danny asked Timmy, "Do you think it was shitty that Steph kissed David?" This right here. You see this?
The pot. Stirring it.
The pot. We're stirring it up. But I live for it. Mm-hmm. This is what reality TV is built off. You need someone to stir the pot. And if that's Danny, who doesn't seem like he stirs the pot a lot up front, but we get a lot of little shit stirring comments from him here and there. This is what reality TV is about. I can respect that. Some people may not like it.
This is what I want to see.
This is what I want to see. Come on. Timmy's like, this is not fair, to put that all on Steph, which it's not. David's got lips too.
Mm-hmm. Samuel tells Timmy he needs to put his foot down. Like, you need to put it down and make these daddies.
Put your hole down.
I wrote it right here, and then I scratched it out. So I was like, no, say this. Samuel tells Timmy he needs to put his foot down. You need to tell these daddies, look, if you want me, tell me. If not, just let me know so I can leave.
Yeah. And Steph kind of turns it back onto himself and is like, listen, it was hard coming in as the new himbo. this is like an uphill battle, which I totally get that for sure, and I'm sure
absolutely.
Timmy seems to get that too, but is also still a little annoyed. But they seem like they're not like at each other's throats or anything.
They put a pin in it, as the housewives would say.
Yeah, put a pin in it. Yep. So you could put a pin in a lot of the housewives. They'd deflate in 2 seconds.
Oh. Stay centered.
Cut back over, and Daddy Tony is like, listen, bitch, I'm not worried about these hoes. I could go get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Stormy comes out to give us the vague medical news. She's in this like lovely green number. She's in like kind of this overcoat that's really cute. Everyone else is in kind of like button downs and general very cute outfits. Just Robert's in good spirits and he wants to come back. We love that. Fantastic.
Yes.
But to decide dates, because the kayak challenge didn't work out, we're doing an old-fashioned coin flip. I'm like, this is just like Pokemon Pocket TCG.
Oh my God. Don't remind me. Ugh. New packs coming soon.
Yeah, so the himbos get tails. They get to choose the dates. Danny chooses Victor. Jay chooses Tony. Steph chooses David. Timmy chooses Nicholas. Samuel chooses Foxy. Timmy says he was going to choose Nicholas anyway, even if he had first choice, which makes sense because that is the other daddy that like is kind of up for grabs right now. And it's a sushi date. I said, wow, this episode is really making me hungry.
I know, like sushi. This is high class, okay?
Sushi, charcuterie. It's a lot of food here. Steph and David. Steph's really feeling Robert because he keeps bringing him up despite only having had that carnival date. I said, I have written here, I don't know if I see it for Steph, but I get he's trying to solidify a connection tonight. So I can understand that. He asked David who he would want to pick him tonight if the himbos ending up having to choose a daddy.
A difficult question. And David says so.
Question, but I do like that as a question. David pulls the Beyonce. That's a great question. I wasn't expecting that question,
I wish I was a whale.
He ends up saying Steph ultimately, and they agree to continue to get to know each other, and they kiss. For me, this kind of shows David moving away from Timmy and finally like choosing Steph. And I hope that moving forward, David doesn't continue to try and play the Timmy angle a bit to try and be like, no, let's still get to know each other. Because at this point, it feels like David really is kind of moving into that Steph space. Yeah, but then in like confessional, Steph says something to the effect of him not being sure if he's in the right place for a connection with David, which is also like, you go spend all this time fighting over him, and then once you get him, you're like, girl, I just
actually
don't know.
I don't know.
Right? What? That threw me for a loop.
You know what? Steph is here to cause drama. Okay.
Yeah,
Steph said, I'm going to take your man, but I don't even want him because I'm thinking about the man in the hospital bed right now.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I said, this is what reality TV is built off of. I can support that.
Yeah.
The next day is Timmy and Nicholas. My favorite line of the episode. Do you know what this is? Sushi? And then Nick goes, no, salmon. Oh, salmon. Oh, okay.
Damn it.
I love it.
I mean, I would react the same way. Do you know what this is?
Sushi, right? Yeah, sushi.
Like
that's what it is. This is a pairing that I didn't initially see, but now that I'm thinking about it, Timmy does sound like he would be someone who really enjoys flowers on the bed, draw him a bath.
He does.
He seems like the one he would like all that, you know?
And now that I've seen the personalities through these 3 episodes, like it's perfect. It's a match.
Yeah. I'm kind of, this is a breath of fresh air, you know? Timmy doesn't know how to use chopsticks. I said, Mama, come to Chinatown. We got you.
Yeah,
you know,
I was like,
we can take you out. And Timmy lets Nick know that he was going to choose him regardless because, you know, the David situation is just very fraught right now. I was like, this is really cute. They're both putting on the charm. They've got that first date banter. They're both like doing that kind of like cute little flirty thing. It's a cute date.
I liked it. A lot transpired today, as Timmy said, but he followed his heart and his soul, and that led him to Nicholas. So I can't wait to see where they go from here. Yeah. I was going to say whole. I was struggling to not say heart, soul, and whole, but I left it.
Whole. See? Next up, we got Samuel and Foxy. I said, now this is 2 men who are on the back foot right now. Samuel doesn't have Robert from the kayak incident. Foxy doesn't have Jay from the Tony incident, which, you know, Jay said up front that he was verse. Tony reveals he likes getting his ass ate. Does Foxy like getting his ass ate? Because that could be the deciding factor for him. You know what I mean? If you got to choose 2 tops that you're the verse one, maybe you choose the one that you can eat his ass out.
I mean, listen, I have turned down tops who don't eat ass. So, I mean, I'm choosing the one who want to get ate. So,
yeah. And they're like, well, you know, how are you? It's like, I've been better. Life be lifing, you know. And that's all we get. It was truly, we get like 30 seconds from them.
30 seconds. And I still made a substance reference because Jay was like, I'm just trying to enjoy the experience. And I looked at my man. I was like, the experience, the substance, you are one.
Oh my God, girl. The boy is mine for me and the substance for you.
Substance. Listen, when you've seen the movie 4.5 times, the substance is everywhere, okay?
I'm telling you, guy who has only seen The Substance, seeing another movie for the first time. Wow, this is really giving The Substance vibes. Next, we get Danny and Victor. Victor reveals the poem he wrote for Danny. I wrote down it here. Hold on. Let me sit up for this.
Okay.
You taught me an important lesson. Feel free to do some snapping. You can't judge beauty by its reflection. Sometimes what the body gives isn't fact. It's an act or a blessing to unlearn. I'm so glad you're my blessing to adore, and I cannot wait to unlearn more. Now, if I'm Danny and I hear that poem, what am I thinking? Yes, my body does give. My body is giving. that's okay. What I'm thinking.
And the second line about the body not giving. What was the second line again? Oh my God. I thought
what the body gives is in fact.
That line, when what the body gives is in fact, I immediately just in my head, I was like, what you see isn't always the truth. Like that's I'm so sorry, Victor, to desecrate your poem, but I literally could not stop thinking about Tatiana when you got to that line.
Tatiana x Victor Yates. This is the poetry collab of the century. Yo, there's like an emotional exchange here. Danny does this thing where he doesn't know how to react. He goes, oh. And I often will just say, oh. So I get it. But you can tell he's like emotional. His voice is kind of, shaking a little bit. Getting a poem
Mhm.
is very, that's very sweet.
It is very
Um,
sweet, and I think on like a reality dating show like this, it's kind of unexpected to like get something so heartfelt as a poem. And it's just like, oh shit, like this is real.
yeah, the slow burn relationship continues. You know, I don't really understand. I read the poem a couple times. I haven't really
Mhm.
sat down. I haven't been holding space for it. I haven't sat down with it
Oh
and
god.
really give it the energy it kind of deserves to read through it. I'm also not the best at reading poetry. Listen, I can read a
I'm not
book.
either.
I'll find the symbolism. I'll do all that. But for some reason, when it becomes a poem, there's like, I think with it only having like so little lines, it's harder for me to like elucidate the bigger picture here. So, it's like I get the poem, but do I get the poem? You know what I mean? It's very that I'm just gonna sit here and snap.
It, I am also not a reader of poems. Yeah, I just put it to some music and then maybe I'll get it. But honestly, just like sitting there reading the words and trying to dissect it, like you said, it's hard. I
Hey,
just don't get it all
listen,
the
I
time.
like I liked it better than Rupi Kaur. I'll tell you that. Huh, milk and honey. Huh.
Oh my God. You
Okay, we move on to Jay and Tony. The sexual chemistry between them is palpable.
uh-huh.
Tony's pulling him closer. You're too far. Uh. And then Jay's like, listen, my last relationship ended. There was this ultimatum. I had to choose between my man or my sex work. Tony's like, listen, I've never dated anyone with an OnlyFans or anything, but I'm open to navigating it. And Jay's like, listen, I'm not asking you to change. I just want you to be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. And I just had to let you know, which is very, that's very open of
Because Jay
them.
is always going to be himself, unapologetically.
Uh-huh. Yes. Tony says, let me help you make the choice between me and Foxy. And lays it on him. I was like, they're pressing
Makes it on
into
him.
each other. They're fogging up glasses. I'm sitting in the
Mm-hmm.
bed. My glasses are fogging up.
All right. It's getting real hot in here. Like
Oh, definitely.
Tony knows how to put it down. Okay. That's one reason I love me some Tony.
Listen, I'm gonna put it down. You gonna fall in love. I'm gonna
I'm
put it down,
gonna put
down.
it down. You can fall
You
in
gonna fall
love.
in love.
So the way I discovered that song was I was in my music history class, and the bassoon teacher taught that class. He said that was his favorite song of all time. This like 40-year-old like white man.
Listen, I
Like
love that
this
song.
Brandy song is the top thing for me. And
If
I was like,
put it down right,
man,
where you
it's
call
such a
it,
good
where you
song.
can fall in love. If you
Ugh,
put it. It's so
if
good.
you put it's
Anyway,
good. No.
we have to move on. We have so much to cover
Okay.
still. The post dates. Vic and Danny are on the bed canoodling. Okay, this is the closest we've ever seen them. All right.
Oh, call it out.
And then we get a he-mail. It
Ooh,
said,
girl.
"Ooh, girl, you got a email." It says all will be revealed tomorrow. XO Dr. Dilf. Okay, this is very interesting here. And Danny, I have written here. Danny uses a Jake segue because I love a non sequitur like this. He goes, because Victor's like this might pay dividends to those that had interesting pairings. And Danny said, okay, I'm gonna take this chance to talk some shit. Speaking of interesting pairings, which is like the way that I segue on this podcast is something to that effect.
It really
Speaking of X, and then jump into some random off point to talk some shit. I said, amen for that. So
Mhm.
Danny talks about looking across the pool, seeing Timmy and David, and now seeing
Mhm.
Steph and David trying to stab each other's tonsils. I'm like, this is so funny. I'm like, girl, you work in WeHo bars. You see people trying to stab each other's tonsils every day. Don't
Oh,
act all puritanical. Like, it's just from someone who works in nightlife, it just feels very sex negative in a way that I personally don't vibe with.
we got to talk about the mixed up loyalties, okay? Because this is serious.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, like I said earlier, I'm someone who fucks on the first date, so I don't really see the problem with this.
I don't.
I do kind of see where Danny's coming from. This is one of those instances where everyone is pushing David and Timmy together, which made more sense earlier. But at this point, Timmy's already weighing his option and is enjoying Nicholas at this point. So I don't know if it's the best move for people to still be like coming at David like you should have married him. Like it's only episode 3. He's still trying to figure out like yeah, his loyalties are a little mixed up. He's trying to figure out who he likes. That's part of the dating show.
I mean, Danny wasn't there when Timmy and David had the conversation, but I do want to go back and check the camera clips. Like, was Danny in the room when all that stuff was happening? Is he maybe just trying to make sense of what's going on in the house? Like, he doesn't know that they
Probably.
had their moment. They put a pin in it. He doesn't know.
That's true, but I feel like Timmy at some point off camera would be like, "Listen, girl, like I'm looking around at this point. You know what I mean?"
True.
This
Okay.
is,
True.
it's food for thought. Maybe you should take it a little more slow before inviting a himbo into your bed. I'm like, girl, this is Steph is sitting there very patiently, which I commend him for.
Very.
He said, I would prefer David to go and explore other options because it lets him know if he comes back, then that's what he really wants. He said, he know we're home at.
I I literally wrote that in
I
here.
knew
I was
you
just
had it
like,
written
Steph said,
down. I said,
you
I
know
gotta
where
get
home
to it
is.
first. I gotta get to it before you do it.
You got it. You got it.
I have right here. Oh Lord, we are veering very close to he know we're home at territory. Then Steph calls out Vic and Danny for their slow burn relationship. He's like, "Oh, y'all seem very comfortable together, but you haven't. You seem like you're flowing by. You haven't kissed yet." And listen, I'm just saying, let them slow burn. Just because you're down David's throat after one booty massage and a sushi date, don't mean they gotta be. But again, I still see, then Vic's, I was gonna keep it cute.
Victor
I
said, you got
said,
me fucked up.
oh no, he's about to lay it down. I take issue with what you think is appropriate for what we're doing. You just got here, He says it's cool if you want to stick your tongue down the throats of 4 or 5 guys when you enter the house, but it's the same as licking the floor of a train in New York City. I don't know if those are comparable. Especially as queer people, I just don't think we should be ostracizing others for like kissing multiple people. You know what I mean? It just feels very
Yeah.
puritanical.
I don't know. If I was in the other room, I would have had my Nene Leakes wig on and be like, now why am I in it? Because I think Victor said everyone in the house is like that. I would have been like, me?
Yeah. And listen, I understand if you don't want to make out with someone that quickly. Like I get that, right? So I understand where Vic is coming from. I just think the way he's going about it it just doesn't vibe well with me, It just comes off as a little sex negative, like also 4 or 5 hasn't. I feel like it's been David, and then we don't know if Steph and Robert have kissed. At most,
I
it's
don't
like
think
2.
they have.
You know what I mean? And then David has kissed Steph and Timmy. So really, it's like 2 people each,
Ooh.
if that, And Danny doubles down and is like, listen, you're not seeing my connection with Vic because you're too busy snogging other daddies. That's some British slang for y'all, snogging.
Gotcha, babe.
Yeah. Have you been making a connection that's just more than physical? And I feel like this is kind of the same thing that Samuel was hinting at earlier. Like, are David and Steph or Robert and Steph, are y'all actually connecting, or is this all lust? Like, are y'all just having a very strong physical connection, which can be part of this, and is one way to definitely start things.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do like that Steph threw it back. Like, okay, you say we're all physical. Where is your physicality?
Exactly. That's the lyric I have right here. Steph's like, well, I'm wondering why you haven't kissed, And this would kind of piss me off if I'm Victor and Danny, because it's like, okay, yes, even if I do want to kiss you, you pointing it out now make it seem like you want us to kiss in front of you, and I'm not going to do that just to appease you, because then it seems like I'm only kissing you because you need to see us kiss. I'd rather kiss you because I want to kiss you, not because another himbo says we're wrong for not having kissed. If that's the case, I think this would have been like a good time. Like if they wanted to do like to kiss, I'd be like, fuck it, we're going to another room, we're gonna talk alone, and then maybe we'll kiss there, but I'm not gonna kiss in front of you or anything like that. Like,
I'm doing it for the cameras, not for you. Like,
exactly. That's what it's. If the cameras aren't on,
I don't want to hear it.
Nothing matters.
RuPaul said it.
Yeah, if the cameras are rolling, I would give a shit off. Like, Victor says he's been wanting to kiss Danny since day 1, but he gets a little blushy and is like, whenever you're ready, I'm ready. And I'm like, okay, they don't feed into it. This is good. They're not like, fine, you want to see us kiss? Mwah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Which that would have actually pissed me off if they had done that, because then I'm like, you're going to let Steph get under your skin that quickly? And then David, before they break, is like, I'm wondering why you think there's only a physical connection here. And I'm like, well, low key, Danny probably thinks that because that's all Steph has mentioned is the physical connection. You know what I mean? That is, from Danny's point of view, that's kind of all he has to go off of. So Danny says, well, prove me wrong. And that's where we leave the episode. Oof, looks like next week Robert's back. I saw the tits in one scene. So I'd
Mhm.
recognize those tits anywhere. Welcome back. Anything else about this last kind of closing? I hate to call it a fight. It's more of an argument, I
A
feel.
little argument. I just really, I'm just inserting this here. I really like the. We thought it was over, like when Victor talked about like he and Danny and everything, and then whenever Danny was just like, okay, you know what, now that's over, and David said, hold up, it ain't over yet. I wrote
Yeah.
here is giving very Salt Lake City. There was an argument with like 6 housewives, and then a friend of jumped in at the end after the argument was over and resolved. She got up and she was like, wait, no, what about me? Where's my kumbaya moment?
I'm
And
screaming.
she
I kind of
just took
sympathize with
control.
those kind of people because sometimes in an argument, I don't realize like I don't get my little cunty moment off, and then it takes me a couple of minutes, and I'm like, wait, and another thing, you know what I mean? Like, it sometimes it really does take that extra minute for me to like get my thoughts in order to be like, wait, hold on,
Actually, now that I think about it,
yeah, and like
that's just
for Victor and Danny, even if let's say hype, and this is me speculating, right? Because some of the slow
okay.
burn relationships, I do get this vibe where they're like, it's less of a relationship and more of an agreement. And I don't know if this is true for them, but one of those things
Hmm.
where off camera at some point they're like, listen, let's just team up for this. Let's try to make it through. Let's give the cameras, the beginnings of a relationship. Let's give them kind of what they want to see. But we're like, maybe we're not physically attracted to each other. Maybe we're not romantically attracted to each other. But for the sake of this game, because it is a game at the end of the day, and this is reality TV.
Technically,
If that is their type of relationship, I think that is still valid for reality TV. You know
you
what I
can still be
mean?
friends. I mean,
I mean, end of the
I know
day,
it's a dating show, but
we're still here. We are here to win money. Like, like that's so
yeah, we are.
I can kind of
Mhm.
support these kind of slow burn relationships that may or may not even end up as anything, because it is one of those kind of like Survivor-esque partnerships that I still kind of respect as a reality TV watcher.
Mhm.
Now, that's not me saying that that's what I think Vic and Danny are that, but if they are that, I can support it.
I want to see
You
where they
know,
go. I mean, listen, maybe the poem just has to get time to settle, and then Danny's gonna come back and be like, you know what? I actually love you. I want to get married when the
because
camera's cut off tonight.
listen, I felt that way about Kane and
Hazel.
Hazel. I felt like they were that relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vic and Danny, if they are doing that, are at the very least giving us emotional beats, more so than Kane and Hazel. They had the open relationship talk. We have this moment here. We have the poem. They're playing into it, like they are giving us everything we need emotionally. So even if they are just a friendship connection building towards getting that money, they're still giving it to us. And I love that.
Listen, at the end of the day, you got to get the bag, okay? That's what Jay said.
Where the money
When
reside.
where the money reside, like that's what you
Yeah.
got to do.
But that leaves us for the rest of
That's
this
it.
episode. We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be back with David to ask him some questions, talk about the show, and yeah, we're back from our break, and we are here with Daddy David. How are you?
I'm great. How are you boys?
We're good. We
We are
just went through
so
a
good.
lot. We went through a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff this
Mhm.
episode, and we're happy to have you on. I think we talked about this in the DMs. My top options for this episode were either you or Daddy Tony. So I'm glad you wanted to come on and talk with us for a
Thank
bit.
you. Yeah, I'm glad you invited me on. Happy to be here. And I've been watching the recaps and the podcast, and I'm a big fan.
Cool.
So
We're glad to hear
Thank you so
that.
much.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun doing them.
Yeah.
Imario, you want to start us off?
Sure, I'll start off. So, whenever you got casted for the show, like, what was it like getting the call where it's just like, "Hey, we want you to be on For the Love of DILFs season 3"? Like, what was that process like, or the moment, I
yes,
should say?
yeah. So actually, I applied. Like I was not recruited. I was a fan of Daddy TV since it was Daddy Couture.
Ah,
So
Oh,
so
OG.
yeah, so that's how I originally like found out about it, and just like, and at one time they just put up like an Instagram ad, and I saw it for
Mhm.
season 1, and I was like, I'm not sure. Let me like watch the show, see if it's something, and if there's later season, I'll apply. So I missed the season 2 one. I just didn't even see it. So when season 3 came, I applied. So yeah, I was like super excited for that email, which I got, I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks later. And of course I applied maybe an hour before the deadline on the very last day because I was
Love
like
that.
Of
unsure.
course.
Yeah.
So you've seen the other seasons?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm a fan from like episode 1,
Oh, nice.
season 1.
Fantastic.
Oh, an OG.
I
Yeah.
wanted to go back to episode 1 of season 3 and ask you a bit about what it was like kind of going into the house and having this situation between you and David, or no, between you and Victor over
Mhm.
Timmy. And what was that like right off the bat, kind of getting into this and be like, wow, I'm already having to play this tug of war.
Mhm.
Honestly, I wasn't really threatened. Like
No one is threatened in this house, I swear.
That was threatened.
no, and it's not that's actually not even a slam against Victor, but I'm just like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If the connection's there, the connection's there. And it's not for, and of course, like I want to vie for someone's attention, but that's not my decision to make. That is the other person's decision to make when you have 2 people fighting over you. So that's
Mhm.
why I say like I don't feel threatened, but also like I think you even see on camera, I kind of, there's more of a connection, I think, with Timmy and I than he's having with Victor's having with Timmy.
Yeah, I mean, I even talked about it in the recap. I was like, Victor, I feel like Victor should go for someone a little more out there and a little more lively. Not that Timmy isn't, but I do feel like him and Danny
The
fit
personalities
more,
match more.
not in more so of
Well,
like kind of like a puzzle piece
opposites
way.
attract.
Not
Yes.
opposites attract. That's the phrasing
okay.
I need.
Yeah.
How was the booty massage? They're
From
not
Booties Are
sponsoring us. You can tell if it wasn't good. We don't even know what their name was. I keep on calling it Booties Are Us.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the massage that much. I really wasn't paying too much attention. Like the conversation Steph and I were having was just from the first second, it was natural, and it just I couldn't, I don't remember. I actually tried to remember watching it back. The only thing I was like, God, I wish I like would have trimmed my butt if I knew it was gonna be like on fucking television. Shit.
Listen, there's many a hairy ass enjoyer. You know?
And listen, we love some furry cheeks here, okay?
Yeah. No, I don't mind it. I just, I would have trimmed. I just wasn't expecting to show booty. So, it's just like, oh, poor planning.
What were some of the kind of topics that you and Steph kind of covered? Because we got bits about you talking about work and about past relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, what else did we get? Because obviously the massage is longer than what we saw.
So
Mhm.
I'd say like a giant chunk of the conversation was actually around theater and movies. So we were talking about specific shows, actors, actresses, movie, and stuff like that. So that's why you don't really see, for IP reasons and things like that. They don't bring a lot of that onto other shows. So that actually was a big part of the conversation, and where one of our first kind of conversational connections started to happen, because he's a dancer and he's in the theater, and I'm from New York, and so I love Broadway. So there was that kind of natural connection. So that's where the conversation kind of went.
Nice. Imario,
Okay.
I think you have a question that matches this, yeah?
I did, yes. I was looking at your Instagram and I saw you saw 6 earlier this year. Haven't seen it, heard great things. So I wanted to ask, what are your favorite 2 musicals, if you had to pick 2?
Ooh,
I know 1 is too few, so I feel like 2 is a good compromise.
I would have to say Spring Awakening
Okay, I hear a lot about that one.
and Rent. I'm a Rent
Rent
girl.
Rent is a classic. Oh my God, love Rent.
Yeah. I'm definitely a Rent girl. So
Okay.
Nice.
that was the one I've seen the most, and one of my first ones.
My heart. I saw Phantom of the Opera first. That was like my first ever
Oh.
introduction into movie musicals, any kind of musicals of any kind. But I saw Rent like the next week when I was in high school, like on film. So
Yeah.
Okay,
my
good
first
to
one
know.
was Ragtime.
Ragtime. I've actually never heard
Yeah.
of that one.
Oh, real? Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Wow.
You
My
should.
high school did it, I believe, or like one year. I didn't see it, but I just remember.
Remember Ragtime? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the only music like this is for me. I like never watched musicals. I've seen Chicago. I've seen Chicago and West Side Story.
My favorite movie musical, though, which you didn't ask, but I'll give you, is Hairspray.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Hairspray. Yes. It's me, Nikki Blonsky.
Wow.
Mhm.
Nikki Blonsky for the movie Hairspray.
Yeah.
Mhm.
moving forward to episode 3, let's talk about this kind of Timmy in the bed, Steph in the bed situation. Later in the episode, Vic is, saying Vic and Danny are kind of coming at y'all. People are kissing 4 or 5 twinks. I'm sitting here, I'm doing the math. It's not really adding up for me.
I don't know what you mean.
It's just, the math was not mathing. That's what for me.
I'll say clearly there's footage of 2 of those 4 or 5, and I definitely only kissed 2 people in the house. So I forget who said that. Was that Victor or Danny?
I believe it was Victor.
Victor
so
hinted at one part and Danny hinted at another.
You'll have to ask them what they meant, but
all right.
Yeah, or maybe more will come out later on in the season. I don't know. So
all right. Well, I will work my powers to deduction and I will put on my detective hat.
You just went you went right in. You started off hard.
Listen, I had to. This is how you get it.
Yeah, no.
Were you expecting Nicholas to just straight up tell you outright, I'm going for Timmy?
No, honestly, I was really kind of surprised by that because up until that point, he had shown no interest whatsoever into Timmy, either like on or off camera. I mean, he was going after Jay, and he actually made a really bold and strong statement, like, this is the guy that's going to break my heart. Like, that's a big, bold statement.
They showed that in like the season trailer. Like,
yeah. And like I was like very careful about not to use any like language or words like that. Like I wasn't gonna be, the Nigel and Rico of like, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Oh,
like we're just making, big bold statements like that. Like, I'm here to explore, I have a connection, I want to see that. So I was tried to, I used to work in PR, so I good about trying to craft that.
Yeah, like this
staying consistent.
This isn't Married at First Sight, like.
Yeah. So I was honestly like quite surprised when he did it. And then I think, he says, I forget what he said in there. Oh, that he like built that what drew him to him is that he was looking sad. And so like, I think it's a little weird to, build a foundation of a relationship with someone based off of them looking sad, as opposed to like independently building a connection over genuine feelings or attraction. So I think, viewers though can pretty much tell when someone is being genuine versus just being opportunistic and there to play the game. And I think you get a glimpse of that when he makes a statement of like, oh, checkmate, at that end of the scene. So
yeah,
viewers,
Jake will clock it.
We covered it earlier in the recap. Yeah,
Jake will clock it every time. And me, I love the fantasy of reality TV. I'm just like, wait, what do you mean they're not in love? Like that's me right there.
I'm here to let y'all know. Like, I watch this shit like a chess game. I'm like, how does it feel watching this back yourself, actually, though? Like, how does it feel to, like, both yourself and then also getting extra context from scenes that you weren't really present for, whether it's Timmy talking to Samuel or Steph in the himbo's hole, as we're now calling it. What does it feel like kind of seeing this bigger picture version of it?
It's a lot. I'd say some of the stuff I kind of already figured, like the scenes I wasn't in, or like what people would probably be saying in confessionals. So I think honestly, the hardest part is watching myself back and like looking at some of the moments where I was like, oof, I wish I would have rephrased that, or I would have wish I would have, handled that situation better. Like, in the previous, when I was like, I say that sloppy seconds comment. And like, as soon as I came out, I was like, that doesn't even fucking make sense. Like, it wasn't even like, okay, it was just, sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain. And anyone who knows me can attest to that 100%. But like, I'm quick to apologize. I'm quick to realize like, oh shit, I just stepped in it. Like, I need to walk that back. And, sometimes people are like, no, you can't walk it back. You said it. I'm like, that's fair. But just know that was not the intent. So there was that. And I think, just going back to the situation where it was me, Timmy, and Steph all in that room, that was a hard situation to be in. Like, that was a hard part to watch, because I'm like, oh God, Timmy is like really sad and really hurt. And I saw it like as soon as this happened, but that was a difficult situation to be in. You see that I'm sitting there in the bed by myself, all the way in the corner, Timmy walks in, approaches me, leans in for the kiss and cuddle, right? Like I didn't even get up or anything like that. And in that moment, you have like you're all the way back there, someone's leaning, you have a split second, be like, what do I do? Right? Being conscious of what's going on around you. And that's where you get that, the 4 or 5 kissing question, I should say. And you either lean into it and say yes, or you reject the person. And I was still, vibing and having genuine feelings. And then, once I did that with Timmy, and then Steph came in and kissed and cuddle, I couldn't reject him after rejecting Timmy unless Timmy was the one I ultimately wanted to go with. So in hindsight, what I really wish I would have done was just honestly
Kissed them both
just
at the same time.
well, there was a point. All 3 of us were in the bed together. I posted a picture of that on my Instagram. No, I just wish I maybe like would have pushed Timmy aside and just like, hey, let's like, can we not do this in front of everyone right away? And later, Steph and I do say that, and he was like, yeah, because like we saw, and so we like kind of pulled back. But in hindsight, that's what I would have done, because I don't ever want to make someone feel that way. And that's what I later on say that to Timmy when we're talking by the pool. I genuinely like did feel bad in that moment. That was the next opportunity, honestly, for me to talk to him in the house, because after that happened, went to bed, tried to talk to him. He said, let's talk in the morning, and this was the next chance. So
Gotcha. Nice.
I remember we talked in the DMs about you saying like the weather was really cold. Like, how long ago was this film? Since I know you said you had to like sit and like think about it and watch yourself back. Like, were you just like, oh God, for like a year? Like, was it?
Yeah. So this past February. So that's what, 9 months ago? 10 months?
A whole kid.
He's a whole kid.
Yeah. It was, and I live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and when I'm not here, and I summer in Fire Island because I don't like the cold. I'm a bitch when it comes to the cold. And I used to be 80 pounds heavier, so I no longer have that installation. So it's like I really don't do well in the cold anymore. And it was getting chilly up there, and I was freezing.
Damn.
So, and I think even one of the scenes you actually even see like my breath, and it's like that was not vape smoke coming out. That was like
that was not vape smoke.
That was not vape smoke.
Yeah, you gotta clarify.
The one part I was vaping was vape smoke. That other part, that was just it's cold.
Earlier in the recap, I mentioned how there's like this scene between you and Timmy, and you're both in this like really, I was like, no matter like the day itself is very dour and overcast, but you're both in this like really cute swimwear. And that reminded me, we had already talked in the DMs about you working with a designer to kind of create some of the stuff that you wore on the show. What kind of drew you to that? And if you care to explain the process a bit or promote anything regarding that,
Yeah, so like most of the speedos I wore were from this guy called Alphonse. And so anyone who comes here knows you got an Alphonse speedo. Like you make an appointment at his apartment, and it's got like that's his showroom. And he only does very limited runs of all the prints and sizes. And he always has this thing that has like a little token on it. So I bought everything. No one, so no one gave me anything for free just for the show. And then the other one I designed with a store called here Aqua Adore. And I just went in and you can custom make, anything, clothes, speedos, shirts, everything. And so I just went around and picked different fabrics and things. And then they showed me the first version, and it wasn't what I wanted originally with this. So it's a seahorse on the back, which is like the symbol of Puerto Vallarta. And then it was like, it wasn't in the right spot. And that's when I came up with the chain idea. I was like, wait, let's use this, because they want to put it around. I was like, let's do this. And I was like, shit, that looks cool. So yeah, it was just something fun. I like to, sort of look.
Cool. It stood out enough that we were like, hey, wait, let's talk about this,
Oh, I wrote it down. When I pop out on the Chicago beach this summer with custom prints,
Oh, yeah, when we start putting chains on our swimwear, watch out.
Yeah, I think Imario, you had a line of something like, oh, it's not a look, it's couture or something. Like, what's the
I think that's what I said. Like, it's not a costume, it's couture. I think that's what I said. Something like that.
Yeah.
I wrote here, if you were to take your himbo to PV for a weekend, what are like 3 things or a couple things that you would do, like have to do in PV?
That is a great question. One, I would say take a boat somewhere, go out on the bay, visit one of the kind of more secluded beaches, and actually go on a hike. So one of my favorite places is to go to Yalapa, because it's It's about an hour boat ride by water taxi, and it has all these. It's a cute little town. It's a little fishing town, but you have this great hiking up into these waterfalls, which are just really beautiful. So it's just like that's actually probably the first thing I would do. Other definitely you need to have like a night out. So you start with
Hmm.
the drink at Corner Bar, you go to Flamingo, dance a little bit, you end the night at Industry at the club. So that's definitely a big part. See some of the, and then it's 3 a.m. and you're watching a drag show at Paco's till 4. So it's, definitely have to do one of those. And then just, a good beach day. Going to Ritmos, going to Montemar, Sapphire, and just laying out and enjoying the beach.
Sounds fun.
Okay.
Mario, start taking notes. We
Oh,
taking a
I
trip,
am. I've been like
bitch.
typing every time I look over. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, all
Of
right,
course.
Paco's, all right.
Yeah.
All
Oh, and
right.
sunset. Oh, and you have to watch the sunsets. Like, and my favorite place to have a sunset cocktail is Daiquiri Dicks. They have great food, good cocktails. And the sunsets here are beautiful. I mean, always thought East Coast sunsets were the best growing up in Jersey and then later New York. And then I come here, I'm like, nope, nope. West Coast completely hasn't been.
Good. That was my
See?
next question. Where are we eating at? Because I'm a girl who loves to eat.
We love food.
Mhm.
There's so many good options. Yeah, Daiquiri Dix is one. Taco Senorita for just some El Pastor tacos. If you like
Favorite.
Vietnamese foods, there's like Let's Pho is a great Vietnamese restaurant. They actually think this is the seventh one. They have them in Mexico and all over Texas. So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
See, Amari, we're going. First stop,
Hmm.
we get mariscos because we love
We.
aguachile. We need
Oh
some
my
we need
God.
some shrimp in
Yes.
here. Like
yes.
that's what
Wait,
we're
shrimp? The
getting.
substance?
Oh my God, here he goes again with this damn movie. Let's talk about this fight, dare I say, because it's definitely an argument. It gets a little hairy, between you and Danny,
Mhm.
Danny, Victor, and Steph.
Yeah.
What was it like? Was that a blind side?
Yes. Total blind side. Steph and I mean, I think Danny knew that was his intention going in. That's
Of
how at least
course.
it seemed to me. But no, the only thing we were there was that like we were there, we were gonna get a note delivered about what's happening, what you see, and then we were gonna kind of comment on that. So no, and it just went from 0 to 60.
Because in the recap, I said this. I said the way Danny segues from speaking of interesting pairings and then immediately turns into talk some shit and
Just
stir the pot. I said he wanted to do this. This was his intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
he was
just
waiting for this. I saw it
he
in his face when he
was.
asked the question. He had this little cute
Mhm.
side eye, like a Keep the camera
Mhm.
rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. And throughout that, I can see, at least from what I'm seeing, I'm like seeing
Yeah.
the cogs kind of turning in your head, and then it's not to like the end where you're kind of like, wait, actually, why do you only see this? What, like, do you think Danny's intention was to just like kind of stir the pot and talk shit, or do you think he was like, from his standpoint, do you think he was kind of coming from a place of concern, I guess?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just really funny. No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm going to say this. There are some people that go on these shows for, I think, genuine reasons. And I'm not just talking about Danny here. I'm talking about, others like Victor, and Nicholas, and people like that. Like, people go on for genuine reasons and have this, really want to find love. And some people go on for, the game, or more opportunistic, or want the Instagram follows. And I think, you'll see, you're really good at picking up on that and picking up those little cues, that body language. What's the look in someone's eyes? I mean, when Victor writes that poem, because he's Oprah, he's, you get a poem, you get a poem, you get a poem. Like, he gives that poem to Danny. Like Danny's reaction is just like, oh, thank you.
Oh,
Like there's no like,
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like most people would like light up, like that's so, and he did a little bit more in the confessional, but you don't, I think, really get a lot from them.
yeah.
So,
The
I'm big
the
into, and I was
WeHo
big
gate
into
jumps
being,
out.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And for me, it was important. Like I was there to be genuine, authentic, and like, frankly, I didn't really care if I mean, of course I would be nice to win and go to the end of the game. But if I wanted to do that, I would have just stuck with Timmy from day one, push Steph away right away. And like, honestly, Tim, But it's, yeah, I just wanted to be genuine and go where my feelings led me
Yeah,
and the
and I
connection led
mean,
me.
from when we like talk to Topher and from all we hear, they're always saying be genuine, just be yourself. Fake does not get you anywhere,
Yes.
If you're fake on camera, they will see it. Topher said it so
Mhm.
many times. We see it here. Like,
And
Yeah.
Dr. Dilf will say it,
Yeah. And the only tease I'll give you for future episodes is I think you'll see more, a lot more of like who's really being, genuine and authentic, and who's there for being more opportunistic.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
oh, okay.
I'll keep my eyes out.
Okay.
As for my last two
Yeah.
questions, was the Robert injury as bad as it seems from a viewer standpoint?
Worse.
It looked rough.
Worse.
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 Was there a bone
That's-
sticking out? Wait, can you tell? Is that HIPAA? I'm sorry.
It was bad. I'm
It was
gonna
bad.
say that
Okay.
it was rough. There was a lot of blood. That was a tough fall.
Damn. Well,
Ooh.
we're glad he makes a recovery because
Yeah.
Mhm.
oof, yeah. Just watching it, this looks rough.
It was surprising, but I actually grew up our driveway was all rock. So actually it was like, as that it was happening, I even might have said it before. I even said like, be careful. Like, cause I like as a kid, and I still have like scrapes on my legs and knees, like from like scraping on rocks. And I was like, while all that was happening, that was the conversation storm I was having. I was like, I've been here. Like thankfully never on my face, but like they really, like when you're flying into them, they just shred that skin.
Oh hell yeah! I've been at the Jersey Shore and fallen on some rock driveways, and my toenail has come off. It's been I've been there.
Yeah, but I had to
rough.
I have to say, so much props and so much credit to Robert for like, coming back in after all that and like willing to go on TV while you're still dealing with all that. So a big, everyone was like, wow.
So he said, I'm coming out and I'm doing my thing.
Mhm,
Injury or not, I'm gonna be here.
Oh yeah.
And my last question for you:
Oh.
Who were your season besties? Like who stands out as the daddy or himbo that you're like that's someone that I can like trust with my life?
Like now, like who am I closest to now?
Yeah, like who just
Timmy.
sticks out? Timmy.
It's not even like a close, like Timmy, by far. Timmy, we talk probably like every other day, or just, yeah, and I think that's where originally, like where it was going, like, sometimes you meet people and like you have this initial attraction towards each other, and emotional and physical, and then that sometimes, it's usually like in real life, it like maybe in a day or in a week or something like that, it kind of peters up. You're like, oh, like our connection's really more about being friends, or like, so like that's my fam. Like I heard to me.
Yeah.
Especially with like with queer friendships and queer relationships, there is kind of that like towing that line, and things do kind of dip in and out like that. So that sometimes you meet a sister and you may make out once, and then you're like, actually, that's a sister,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, David, for coming on and talking to us. Before we head out, is there any last words you have for us, the audience, anything about the show you want to point out, or anything that you have to promote?
Yeah, I'd say like in general, it was, I'm happy for the experience. I'm happy I went on there. I think there were things that I was kind of surprised about. I think, and I don't know, like there were times where I felt very isolated off camera, and things like that. But I was really thankful for the Daddy TV production company and crew. Like I think I really, really enjoyed getting to know a lot of them and spending time with them. And so really have a lot of friendships there. So adore them, and really, adore that, there are some cast members. I said Timmy's like my number one boy, but like, Fox, Robert, Steph, like we all, still talk, and, and some of the other people, but those are the ones that I kind of talk to more consistently. And as far as promote goes, I'd say I'm in lovely Puerto Vallarta. It is beautiful here. If you're interested in buying real estate, it is a great investment. DM me on Instagram. I'm maybe having some future merch or some fashion stuff coming up. So be on the. I don't know. I'm looking right now. I'm considering based off the reactions that like you guys and other people are getting on some of the posts. I was like, oh, maybe I should be looking into this. So just follow me on Instagram. You'll see more.
And that your Instagram is at David
M. Smith Jr.
Jr. Boom.
Yeah.
Right. Imario, where can
Most
people find you?
basic American name.
Yeah, hey, if it works, it works.
Hey, you can find me busting it open, not like Robert, on Twitter, Blue Sky. I have to redo that one.
Too soon, girl. No, we're keeping it in. Continue.
You always keep it in every time.
Of course.
You already dropped it on like when you introduced the cast. So
I already did.
Yeah.
You can catch me busting it open, not like Robert, on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Booty Origami.
And I've been Jake. You can follow me at Crowhunk for all my daily coffee postings that I sometimes accidentally post on the Baby Daddies Pod page. And you can follow the podcast at Baby Daddies Pod. We'll catch y'all next week for another exciting episode of For the Love of DILFs. I watch this shit like a chess game. I'm like